The group of you did a civil service. Uh, this impromptu group thrown together in pursuit of a job that Gogron had needed, delivery of goods to a peculiar fellow living deep in the Pinwood, saw an opportunity for more coin whilst working together rather than struggling on your own. You picked up the community job to assist in the training of members of the newest batch of recruits of the Blackburn Watch. You trained with them in a appearingly deadly combat, although healing services were provided. You got to see some of the phalanx formations that Lieutenant Arvier and Captain Brath Stormsurge have been teaching to the recruits, and afterwards retreated, apparently to a very uncommon and quite a delicious meal of mushroom and venison stew, pardon me, provided by Mayor Tidell. The small woman was all too eager to be able to provide some sustenance to the town's defenders. It was tasty. You all spent some time enjoying that, speaking with each other, and having a pleasant company. You did speak with the mayor briefly, and shared some words, each of you, with Captain Brath's Storm Surge, the head honcho of the Blackburn Watch. The group of you have decided, though, that your intention is to pick up the other job that was recently posted on the walls outside of the keep. This was to be paid out by the Opulent Depths Mining Company, and it seems like they've had a few miners that went missing a few days prior. Well, at this point, close to a week prior, and are trying to pay someone to explore the areas around the mining camp. At this point, maybe to recover bodies, or hopefully to find these two people alive, and maybe they've just wandered off and got lost in the wilderness. Um, but the pay has increased recently in the hope that someone will take the job and assist them. And the group of you have this flyer in hand. Additionally, during the after the fight with the members of the Blackburn Watch, the group of you did reach a milestone, and as such, gain a feat. So if you've not done that, just please make sure to add that to your sheets as well. And we're picking up today after you've finished up your meal with the watch in Blackburn Keep, and are back in the courtyard in front of the keep in Cathedral Square. It's about a little bit after midday, not by much at all, 12:30-ish. What would you like to do?
Well, after having had a word yesterday with one of his informants, um, Wes, he was hoping to, or Jekakath was hoping to speak with his older brother Bryson, having heard that he's had a change of heart of late.
Okay. So you're seeking out them. Are you telling the rest of the group where you're going, or you just gonna wander off?
No, he'll say,
Excuse me a moment. I've got a friend of mine that I would like to speak with. I shall be
Before
sure to meet up with all of you before we head out.
yeah, before you leave, I have to pick up my ex. Do we meet up at the miners' company later in like an hour or so?
Sounds good. I would like to go speak to the Amber Braids as well, if you don't mind me coming with you down it.
Sure, I don't mind.
Yes, I have some chores that need to be done. I can't wait to meet.
All right. So the group of you all split off in your various directions.
Scatter!
Starting today with Aeolus. You, after being present for some of the events that this group has finished, you watched them in quiet in the fight previously against the new recruits. As is one of your roles, ensure that everyone's being trained appropriately. You hear a presence come up behind you in the halls of Blackburn Keep. And a strong hand claps you on the back. What do you think of them? As you hear the booming voice of Captain Brath Stormsurge, trying to not be too loud, but not being very successful.
Honestly, I'll admit, when we were out in the bars, they worried me. But I think with a little bit more attention, they could actually be a palpable training company for the Blackburn. If the Blackburn continues to offer to pay, of course.
We can't pay what most people want for that, but every now and then it's always nice. I was actually asking about the recruits, though.
No, the recruits held their own for a little bit.
It's good. They adapted well enough. I liked the sort of trick they played on Jack there, and the dwarf. Act like they don't know what they're doing. Clever. Play their enemy. A few of them might merit invitations.
Yeah, definitely seems that way. We could use a few more that like to play with their enemies' battle senses. It would do them well.
I need to get back to the mayor, help her finish up some paperwork, but I think they all wandered out. Mind keeping an eye on those companions you were traveling with?
Of course.
One of them gives me a weird feeling.
They all give me a weird feeling.
Footsteps recede.
Aeolus will head out and he will first head to William's parents' homestead.
Yep, so you head to Willem's. Alright, we'll come to that in a moment. Jack. Where are you headed? To look for him.
Well, where would Jack understand he's most likely to be found this type of day from his experience?
I mean, you know he is the butcher's son, but he is older. You heard from Wes earlier that he was helping plow some fields. You suspect he's probably working right now, if anything. If Wes is to be believed, or Wes is to be believed. So, one of the farmer's fields, but who knows which.
Is that surprising, given that he is the butcher's son, that he was he's not the butcher's, but he's helping some of the fields?
It is, unless Wes is being entirely truthful. I mean, it's hard labor, but builds muscle.
That's true. If Jack didn't really know at the moment where to find him, he doesn't want to go on a wild goose chase. He'll speak to him later. Then he'll stop by Ken instead. He's probably more reliably able to be found, right?
Yes. Ken's mother works in the Sea Dock ward, and Ken is usually in and about that area. Give me an investigation or perception check, your choice. If you're just trying to spot them or asking around if anyone's seen them. Easy enough. You get to Sea Dock ward. It seems like a ship is currently about 2/3 unloaded of things that have been imported and being sort of inventoried by Gnome Depot. You actually find this would be Ken's mother working with a large book that she's flipping through and making tick marks for the crates of type and number that are being unloaded by a army of dock hands. I say army. A few dozen dock hands that are working to unload this ship. You're not quite sure when it came in. You don't really care, though. You find her, and she sort of peeks up. Yes, can I help you?
Good day. Big shipment, eh?
A little bit more than average. Not too bad.
He'll just glance over. What's the ship's called? What's the ship's name? If it's obvious.
You are on the stern side of it. You'd have to walk down the dock to be able to see where it is. You can if you'd like.
Well, if it's not obvious, he's not worried too much about it.
Okay.
I was looking for Ken. Have you seen him around?
Ken, I've not seen him in a few hours. He was supposed to be helping with this. If you see him, tell him get his butt over here. You could check around the back of the house. He might be there, goofing off again.
I'll let him know to come by if I see him. Thank you.
Yeah, tell him I'll tan his hide if he doesn't. He'll be on the next
Will
ship
do.
out of here.
You would like that.
Not where he'd be in ship 2.
From what Jack knows of Ken, would he expect him to be more likely goofing off, or more likely like trying to interact with a sailor or something?
Give me a history check. You would know quite well that Ken is very likely trying to get stories out of sailors of what's happening on the waters, any new fantastic tales.
All right. Jack is also curious for that exact same reason, so he is going to go to where he would know the sailors would convene.
Okay. There's an alleyway in between the Tiltwins and the Sea Dock ward that leads into the cul-de-sac. It'd be right here. Where sailors tend to congregate a little bit, hidden from the eye line from the docks themselves. They tend to gather here to play dice, drink, take some time off. And sure enough, as you round the corner, you find about three pretty burly-looking sailors, one of which is missing their hand below the elbow, and sort of mid-forearm amputation, that are currently engaged in a game of dice. Two of them are sitting on upturned pails, and then crouched near them with their hands on both of their knees, you see Ken, who is watching the game of dice but not participating, as doesn't have the coin to gamble.
Jack will walk up next to him and lean on a nearby structure and comment,
Who's winning? Big stakes?
Biggest stake, sir. Ken looks up, recognizing the voice. But not me. I wouldn't do that with any of my. I don't have any silver. As he sort of eyes the sailors, but if I did, I wouldn't gamble it. He sort of stands up. Excuse me, and sort of picks his way in between the group of the sailors for a moment, and then to the other side of them where you're standing. What can I do for you?
I was hoping you might have heard some interesting stories from abroad.
In the middle of something like that right now, but there was a huge storm off in the Isles a few days ago, maybe a week. We caught a little, just tail end of it, 10-15 days back. It was bad. I mean, it was bad-ish in Elderthorn, but apparently, from what they're saying, sir, trying to bring anything in during that was mighty terrible.
Any distraction?
Distraction?
Distraction. Any ships
Oh,
lost?
destruction.
Cargo.
Sorry. Hey, sorry. Yeah, it's still sometimes hard to get your accent through. No. But the Bella broke. Almost ran aground. That's the one they got docked out there, unloaded now. Pretty nasty though. They said waves towering over the side of it, crashing over deck. Terrifying sounding. He's got a huge smile on his face. Doesn't sound terrifying. It doesn't sound like he's terrified.
Plenty of excitement out there on the sea, eh?
I mean, at least some stuff happens, you know? Here, you just play dice all the time. Or
Speaking of,
farm.
he'll lean in. Your mother says that if you don't go help her soon, she's going to have you shipped out.
Yeah, but she means she's gonna sell me off to work in a mine or something. I don't want to do that.
Of course not. Anything else?
No pirates or nothing.
Well, here, and he'll offer him a silver and 5 coppers. Just like he'll extend his hand to his, and then very swiftly palm it into Ken's hand.
Very faint jingle. Give me a sleight of hand check.
Man, rolling low.
Okay. There's the name of the ship also. The spelling, the Bellabrook. There's a jingle and see one of the sailors' eyes perk up for a moment at the sound of coin. Doesn't go unnoticed by Ken though. Well, I guess I better go help Mom. Sort of tries to sidle past you and start leaving the alleyway before he gets pressed into gambling.
Jack will follow him on the way out and will comment,
But you know, if you ever do care to throw a dice, it's a good way to build camaraderie.
Sounds expensive.
Well, you're not poor anymore. Have a good day.
Sure thing, sir. And he
Bad influence.
runs off towards the docks themselves. Alright. Dunnan. You are headed to the Amber Braid Armorers.
Yes.
And Siegfried, you were joining them, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Come to you. Not more than 5 minutes walk. You cross the bridge over the river, and you can met by the sounds of the familiar ball peen hammer or strokes of grinder, like a file grinding away metal, as you poke your head into the Amber Braid Armorers themselves, not the smithy that's attached, but their shop front, where you find Andre is currently leaned back in a chair, softly dozing to the sound of his sister working.
I'll get close to the counter and then smash my head on the counter.
Are you trying to get to the counter without waking him?
Yes.
Maybe a stealth check.
Disadvantage.
Armor.
Yes. Heavy armor. Nope.
Ooh, no. You take 2 steps in, and the heavy footfalls on the ground start. I'm like, oh, it's just you.
Wakey, wakey, little princess.
Let me grab Andre's sheet. All right. What?
Any
What'll
luck
it be?
with the eggs?
Oh, hey, yeah. She finished him up. Not hour ago. The moment. Gets down off the stool with a huff. Grabs the edge of the counter for a moment. Oh, dizzy. All right, I'm good.
And
Goes-
don't forget Siegfried's spear.
Hey.
How are you doing,
Waves his
Mr.
hands.
Amberbraid? It's good to see you.
Do you speak Dwarvish?
Yeah, Siegfried speaks Dwarvish, yeah.
No. You recognize the string of curses and profanities that he is muttering as he leaves the room. Something about being woken during a quite pleasant dream. All right.
Just like my father.
He's doing that. All right. As he goes into the back of the area, left in the shop for a moment, smell of grease and oil fills your nostrils. There's a curse and a clattering of metal coming from the back for a moment before Andre comes back out with 2 leather wrapped pieces of kit and sets them down. All right. Here's your axe.
Right.
Hands it to you. It's been patched, not replaced. The head of it. Well, it doesn't look quite as good, but it looks functional. And a new bevel's been ground onto it. It'll serve you fine. Just keep it away from whatever you were getting it onto previously. And then hands the spear over to you, Siegfried. The weight is a little bit different though. As he hands it to you, you notice we had to replace part of the shaft. So it's all new. Don't worry, it's holly. Good sturdy. But unfortunately, part of that goop had gotten into the wood around the spearhead and started rotting it on the core. So we weren't able to reuse that. We didn't want to shorten it. We could have, but we just replaced the whole thing anyway. Keep the length the same for you. But it'll serve you fine.
Great. Thank you very much, Andre.
Pleasure. Tell Gogrun if you see him that we're square.
Right. I'll tell him next time I see him. And give my regards to your sister. For
She doesn't
all
care
that
about
stuff.
regards. You know her.
Yes. Still, I owe you.
Where are you all off to?
Well, you know that thing with the missing miners?
I heard something
Well,
about it.
Yeah,
Tavern the other night.
we are planning to go over to the miners and acquire some more information about that, and maybe help them out.
Siegfried will pipe up and says, Mr. Amberbay, dude, do you know who's missing?
I do. One moment while I consult my notes on that one. Should be Elroy Lazana. He's a half-elf man. And his nephew Emron, sister's kid. He just finished up the watch 6 months ago. Right before winter hit.
Dunnan and would probably notice like Siegfried like immediately be relieved that he didn't mention any dwarves missing, but then also Siegfried kind of feeling guilty after he says that the other one will only just finish their watch, their training.
Right. Well, Emron was supposed to be learning the mining trade with his uncle Elra, but the last rotation of some of the men coming home said that these two hadn't checked in on they were supposed to split the shifts. I think they've been gone better part of a week and a half now. Better hurry. Not too
So
many
they are
people
missing-
survive in the mountains that long.
They are missing within the mines, or are they? Have they been
No,
lost too?
no, they never checked in. A few people traveled with them. From what I heard. Because mind you, the rotation that came home, it was the split, so they didn't. But apparently, some people had taken a trip out to the mines with them. But Lazana had a camp. They didn't prefer to stay in the barracks. They camped a little bit off the way. A lot of the miners do it. Like, barracks, from what I hear, are kind of shite, and usually the first few paychecks that you get working the mines, you're buying the camp equipment so you don't have to stay in the barracks. But no, they were staying there. And should have checked in the day after they arrived to start their shifts in the mines. Never checked in though. 2 days, 3 days later or something, was when someone was sent back from the mines here at Elderthorn, and the job got put up then. I'm getting this down the vine, so to speak, so I may be fuzzy on some of it, but definitely peculiar. The Madam Roller is not quite pleased with anyone, and especially the ODMC.
But it hasn't happened before that somebody went missing.
I mean, people get lost in the woods, but in the mountains, there's other dangers there. Wild beasts, bears, hungry
Right.
things.
When we are there, do you need anything from there? if you're going anyway?
They won't let you buy anything at the mines themselves. Not until it's been weighed by the headquarters here. I already got an arrangement for things coming in for assist. Not worried about it.
So you wouldn't want to bypass the union done in the. It's a bad ending for all of us.
Fairly new here.
If you want to speak with Relme, she lives the far side of Firefly Plaza.
Thank you. Also, any word from Bugram? I was trying to catch up with him, but it seems like he's been gone for a few days.
Did you not hear? He got a job up the river. He's working logging for the next few months.
Finally got off his ass, did he?
Well, I told him he would have to get a home one way or another, and well, he realized he wasn't going to be making any money, and I wasn't going to be paying him. So he took something else.
I asked him if he wanted to join the watch with me. We could have bunked together, but didn't seem his style, you know.
Styles for other people. I mean, no offense, he's not really a stylish one.
And no news from my father or my mother, I assume.
More recently.
Well, I'm sure I'll see them when I'm there. Thank you for helping me out when I first came here. I know couldn't have made it. My dad probably didn't like that too much, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, what happens happens. Don't worry about it. You all just keep your wits about you going out to the mining camps.
Of the trail's been up to the mountains, and any news about those?
Up into the mountains, no. Not that I heard. Just to be clear, are you referring to the ones at the mining camp or the loggers upriver?
No, just like the path to the mountains that we'll be taking. Like
the path to the mining camp?
Yeah, to the mining camp.
Okay.
If there's been any like incidents on there.
No, well traveled. I mean, you only get to the foothills with it anyway, but that's where the camp's at anyway, so you should be fine. It's pretty well worn. I mean, they've been using it for a better part of a century at this point.
Understood. Well, thank you for the spear.
Pleasure. I'll go grant nothing.
We'll make sure we tell him that.
Aye.
Oh. Thank you very much, Andre, again, and have a nice day.
He nods and sees you out. You have a suspicion he's probably sitting back down on that chair and trying to get back to whatever pleasant dream he was having before you interrupted him. Alright. And finally, Willem. You head to your home?
Before home, Willem, if you will, I was going to stop by the butcher's. Also, take a look at shops for spices and herbs.
Okay.
As well as I need to pick up a nice cooking set for our travels.
Okay. So you would have to get that from Gogrons, like travel cookware. Stopping by the butcher's first, as you're closer to that location. Give me a investigation check for a decent price.
Nailed it.
All right. Oh, there we go. Took a moment for it to pop up on my side.
I thought I lost connection. It's oddly quiet.
Yeah. All right. There's a halfway decent cut of venison at the right price for you. It's available for 5 silver pieces.
I'll take it. And some bacon, too, if you have it.
Easily acquired as well. I'll mark up another 2 silver for a good slab of pork. That'd be pork belly. And then you wanted to pick up some cooking set. As a
Spices sticking my cooking for the
okay. With that investigation check, you have very little luck trying to find anything other than salts, and a few ground peppers, but not very fancy on the spices, unfortunately. Pardon?
Always next time.
Pushing your way around town, you make it to Gogron's General Goods, where the orcish purveyor looks at you. Pleasure to have you back.
Yes. I need your best traveling cookware set. If you make it a real nice one, I'll cook you some bacon and bring you some pie.
I do not need pie, thank you, though. Yes, you may. That shelf there, and he gestures to a back wall, has a self-contained set bound up with a leather thong. Take care that it does not stay wet. It can be prone to rust.
Yes, we cannot have that.
You can add a 10-pound chef's kit or cook's kit to inventory, made out of iron. Contains a large pan, 2 pots of different sizes, one with a lid that's recessed slightly, like a very small Dutch oven, and 2 utensils that are handled in wrapped wood, and one of them has a steel head, you suspect likely more for like gentle agitation of things, and then one that has a wooden head, and you can see a pin to be able to change the head of it, likely for actually having to scrape the iron cookware.
Yes. How much is that?
That is 8 silver.
Thank you so much. I'll make sure to bring that bacon back.
Don't worry about it. You enjoy. You paid me? We're good. But I appreciate the gesture. You've been very kind to me. Why do you need a cookware set? Your mother's fairly skilled in the craft herself.
Yes, but now I am going out on my own and adventuring, and I have to have my own set for the travels.
So you should. Well, this one should serve you well. Just keep it well looked after.
Yes, of course. And if you can keep an eye out for any fantastic spices and salts and all the good stuff, I will gladly pay an advance for them.
I'll check with the gnomes. See if anything has made it across the water recently, and I'll get back to you.
Oh, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Was there anything else that you required for this adventure?
Oh no, this is more than enough.
All right. Well, you know where to find me. Stay safe. Sort of raises his eyebrows towards you.
Stay well fed.
I will. Worry not. On
That
your
probably
way,
with an extra spring in the step would head on.
on your way, winding through the areas, you see Aeolus, walking in what appears to be the same direction that you're going. Aeolus, you notice Willem walking past you, or walking vaguely in the same direction as you.
Give a little leap in joy and a wave. Alice! Hey! Where are you going?
I was actually heading towards your parents' homestead to find you.
Oh. Well, I said no. Come along.
Sure.
So why were you looking for me? I thought we were meeting at, the mines.
I just wanted to check in on you before I stopped at my house to grab my supplies. Does your family grow vegetables?
Well, of course. With my ma and da having 10 children, they couldn't afford to buy food for all of us. And where do you think I learned to cook?
Amazing. This will actually help me.
Want to learn to cook too?
Not necessarily, but I look to grow a few things.
Oh, yeah, da. He's great out in the fields and delegating the work in the fields.
As a parent should, especially with that many hands.
There's so many children. I sometimes forget their names. I just label them by numbers. It's easier. You'll love number 3. He's so cute.
I bet.
Well, come along.
I'll follow.
Yeah, easy enough to make it the rest of the way to their homestead. This should be on. Here's my map. Outside the Tiltwinds here. And you pile into a fairly quiet, for even in your experience, Willem, home. It is midday. I expect most of the numbered children are out and about, helping your father with various things, or running errands for your mother.
That is the life, yes.
As you poke about a little bit, you do eventually find your mother, Aster, currently working on kneading some dough. As she sees you come in. Oh well, it's about time that. Oh, my pleasure. Hello. Didn't know you were bringing a guest by. How may I help you? She sees the garb. did he get in trouble again?
No. I apologies. Alias Rontes.
Mom,
She looks
you
at her
said you
hand.
wouldn't tell about the troubles.
Um,
You promised.
I just assumed that you did get in trouble. Not. I didn't say what troubles you get into. Looks at her hands covered in flour. My apologies. Astrid. What can I do for the watch today?
Actually, this is more of a personal matter.
Oh.
I came across a few fungi that I would like to cultivate, and Willem tells me that his family grows many things.
We're not in the business of farming mushrooms. May I see them?
And he will reach into his pouch, and they're wrapped up in a heavy cloth, and he goes, "Do not touch them. I'm unsure what kind of mushroom they are."
As you unfurl them to show her, you see, I believe you garnered 3 of them, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
And I imagine at
You
this
see-
time they are no longer pink.
No, they are very, very small. Shriveled and browned. A orangish brown, almost like oxidation on steel. They do not look appetizing, and they have this shriveled texture to them. They've long past spoiling.
Okay. I expected that.
Those are mushrooms? Look like
Well, they were.
I couldn't tell you. No, most of what we cultivate is, well, some grains, when we rotate the fields. You'd be better off speaking with Willem about it. He's the one that plans it, not him, his father. He's the one that plans the field rotation. I think this season, we're planting beans and peas at the moment.
Peppers, of course.
Peppers are later in the season, dear.
No, the special batch.
Special batch of peppers.
Hot
Yes.
peppers.
We've been breeding
Oh.
them.
They get planted in early summer.
How was your supply on them?
The peppers, Willem took our last preserved jar recently. This Willem, not Father Willem.
Right. Well, if you once the summer rolls around and you start to grow them again, I would very much pay for a batch.
Really? Good to know. I'll mention it. I'd be happy to. Not too much though. Please don't be going and spreading the word around town. But
Oh no.
if you're a friend of him, I don't mind selling to a friend.
Well, Willem, are you going to inform her of our trip?
I was going to mention it a little bit more gently.
There's a cocked eyebrow. Really?
So, Mom, I brought home some bacon, some pork belly, and some venison, and some spices.
All right.
And we're going
And
for
what are you trying to bribe me now?
We're going to the mine to look for some lost people.
And you're going with them? She looks at
Yes.
you, Aeolus.
Of course I am. Willem is very capable. And the group that helped out with a few tasks are heading up to the mining camp, and I saw fit to personally come to his parents and inform them of what an outstanding job he's done thus far.
Oh, it's good to hear good things for once. Well, just make sure you stay safe. I guess I'll see. I'll handle your father. I mean, we won't see you for better part of a week anyway if you're headed that way.
Yeah, there's a couple of us, and I'll be safe. And well, I also thought maybe before you went, I see that you have some dough. Maybe we can make some meat pies for you and Di and the numbers, and there should be enough stuff left over for me to, bring some pies for my new friends.
This is all for bread starters, dear. I'm not working on any pies right now.
Well, I of course could help, or I could just leave stuff because I know we have to leave soon.
I'll try to make sure I have some for you when you get back. How's that?
Thanks, Ra. And I would pass over the meat and about half of the spices and salt. Or
Okay.
I should say pepper and salt.
Mm-hmm. Easily enough done.
And the numbers are voracious little beasts.
You drop off the supplies. Anything else that you needed to do at your home, or anything else you had here, Aeolus?
Here, on our way to meet up with the group, I'd like to pick up rations, though.
Okay. Easily enough done. You can, the price is in the handout. In the, pardon me, the custom setting folder. In the setting folder. I think. Nope, it's in Elderthorn. I lied twice. It's in Elderthorn, Gogron's General Goods.
Yeah, Siegfried would have wanted to stop and get some rations as well.
Certainly. You can mark off the appropriate prices for the number of rations that you take.
Same with Jack.
Okay. And it's 5 silver for each day's worth of rations.
And how many days did we know it was going to be? Probably.
So it's 2 days travel to the mines, to the mine camp, followed by however long you spend there, and then at least 2 days back as well. There is an established camp at the mine because it operates all months of the year, regardless of the season. So you suspect you might not need food whilst there, if you can, especially if you're on the job. But it'd be something you would want to double check with the ODMC representative in town.
You said 5 silver per ration?
Yes, per day.
There's time on the way to the meeting point. I would just keep an eye out for any herbs or any streams, I'd forge my way along.
Pardon? I'm sorry. My mic cut. My thing cut in and out.
No
Headset.
problem. I was basically saying as we go to the meeting place, I would keep my eye out for any forageables. Gotta get my cook on.
Okay. Well, the group is meeting at the Opulent Depths Mining Company in town, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, we can jump ahead to that if people are ready for it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let me get to the location. J, on the western edge of the Firefly Plaza, there is a ostentatious. Does not do it justice. This building is far more grandiose than nearly everything around it, and kind of a tacky way. Not kind of. It's tacky. The trim of the buildings is polished brass, like you would see on a beautifully made chest. These corner guards that you would expect to see on a chest that need to help protect the edges have been pinned onto the sills, the corners of the framed windows. The door itself has these brass fittings holding and covering the joinery to keep the planks of wood together. It is shine and polished in ways that you don't know how they find the time. And a small, but still beautifully, you suspect, hand-painted sign with gold lettering that seems to shimmer with its own light. Is placed hanging above the door in such a way that it gently rotates, seemingly regardless of whatever breeze is happening in the moment, such that if you're standing and looking at it from any angle, within about 3 seconds, you are able to read it from actually a great distance, regardless of its size. This is the Opulent Depths Mining Company.
Well, seems to be the right place. Everybody finished with their business?
I am.
All set.
Yes.
Ah, let's get to it. And Dandan enters the building with the rest.
Okay. You push in, and the smell of patchouli sort of overwhelms you for a moment. It's very thick, and it's not quite covering up what you think might be the smell of what you hope to be muddy boots, and sweat seems to pervade this space here. But the patchouli is definitely the strongest scent, although it doesn't mask the others. Pushing in, there's a tall counter on the far side and a few benches seated in this interior, what looks to be a drawing room of what maybe once was a home that's been converted for this purpose. Let me grab a handout. ODMC. As you enter through into this area, it is lit with lanterns with a dull reddish gold flame that does not flicker. It just sort of stays static, shedding a unwavering light, which catches some of you off guard as you enter one by one. And there's the tingling of a bell that gets shifted somewhere in the back, alerting who's ever operating the desk here that people have entered. After a moment, you all hear the voice. Speak with you. My name is Dr. Zillan Booncraft, a representative for the ODMC. How can I assist any of you today?
What was the name, sorry?
Dr. Zillan Booncraft.
Villain.
He is a gnome.
To you two.
Thinning hair, dressed smartly, with a large lapel pin, which has the symbol of the Opulent Depths Mining Company. Here that is. As a large lapel pin, that sort of pins his collar to his placard.
Good day to you too. My name is Dan and Firebeard, and these are my companions. We found your note on the message board.
Oh, you're here about the job.
Visiting some people.
Please, yes, sit, yes. How can I do? What can I? We would love to have you. Yes, sooner the better. We definitely need to get you out there to the camps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you. What a wonderful. Yes. Job's still available.
Right.
You're
Any
looking to
background information, any more details you can tell us? We
um.
heard bits and pieces from Andre, but I would like it to hear it from the source.
Oh, gossip in town. It's never a good thing. But
Well,
yes.
you can't prevent
So
gossip if people go missing.
well, better to nip it in the bud then, right? So
Yes.
well, all right. So the foreman at the camp is his name is Felix Sparklefirn. You want to check with him. He's the head foreman of the camps at the moment now. They would be able to tell you where the miners were camped. We've not touched the camp in the hope that there might be some clues there for anyone skilled enough to be able to find them. We did remove food, anything that might attract predators, but everything else has been left where it has, from what Sparklefern has informed us. We're not sure what happened. We think they might have gone to collect firewood and gotten lost or turned around in the night. We're hoping that we can find them as soon as possible. But we need it to happen sooner rather than later. So if you'd like to take the job, we'd be thrilled to pay you. But we need to get you going as soon as possible.
I'll count us in. We're gonna find those missing people. Hopefully alive, but I can't make any guarantees. I mean, they've been gone for a week.
No guarantees had in this business. No, not in mining, not in finding people, right?
And have you had any others of interest coming here looking for this job?
A few people asked about it, but weren't ready to ship out as of yet. And I told them the need for haste here, and they seem to not really respect it. So, it is what it is.
Well, you found some too now.
Fantastic. No offense. I'm gonna keep my job posted. And whichever team can find my people first, that's who I'll pay.
You've just hired the bloody Mad Dogs, just so you know.
I'd prefer if my people were not bloody. Thank you.
No, it's the name of our group.
Oh.
Excuse me?
Yes, we decided it last time while you were sleeping. It's a thing now. Siegfried already invented a song for us.
I don't want to hear it. Thank you, though.
I see.
Here is these. And he starts throwing packs onto the desk. There's a bundle of 8 torches. These are for your use as needed. If you can, please return some. But if not, it's okay. Here is this. It gives you a map of the surrounding topography of the mine. It's not very extensive, and it cuts off a few hundred yards from where the mining camp is, you suspect. Here is this. And he produces a box that has a few different, as he opens it, compartments contained therein. And each compartment, as he pulls out one of them, it looks like a scrap of tanned hide that still has the fur attached to it. It's just a small swatch. It says, these are the known predators in the area. We have wolves, bears, wolverines. We have these weird bison things that like to... They don't really eat people, but they'll attack you if you get too close. There's cougars. There's a few things. But everything's labeled. So if you see something, you can pluck out whatever looks like the pelt is right, and it'll tell you what it is. Puts it back in, closes the box, latches that, and hands it to you.
Great. Thank you very much.
Wait a moment. So this is a compendium of scraps of hide. and
Yes.
fur, so we
Yes.
can identify what the
Creatures.
attacking creature is.
Oh, and any creatures that you might see, yes. Any big creatures. Anything smaller than me, we didn't really keep track of, because they're not dangerous. Generally.
Is it not common for the miners to know the difference between a wolf and a bear?
The miners, yes. For people that we're sending to help them, who don't spend half their life at the mining camp, no.
Interesting.
Here, the good rule of thumb, if sort of looks at the group of you, if it's bigger than him, as he gestures at Dunnan, it might be dangerous. Use the box. It'll tell you what it does.
He's plenty dangerous on his own size.
I don't fear anything that is bigger than my size. The taller they are, the lower they fall.
Does that mean you fear wolverines? They are smaller than you.
No, I don't fear anything.
Oh, no, Wolverine
Any size.
is third row, second one down. No, they're actually quite bigger than him.
Interesting.
Well, Doc,
Stuff grows pretty
if we
big
see
in
anything,
the mountains.
If we see anything that's not in the box, would you want us to bring the sample back?
If it tries to eat you, sure. You're not getting paid extra.
Oh, okay. Let's see if we kind of forget about it.
Pretty sure any wild deer out there who's gonna trying to eat us.
Oh, and if you see goats, stay away from them.
Goats?
Yes, goats.
Why is that?
The mountain goats. They're particularly territorial. And they... We're
Well,
working on
basically,
domesticating them, but
Well,
as of
basically
yet,
everything they can to push you
unsuccessful.
up the mountain.
well, that, but they'll also shatter boulders when they charge them.
Hmm.
They'll dwarf most pack horses. We've been working on trying to domesticate them. Not great. Very unpleasant. A few dead gnomes.
Can you cook them though?
Can you what?
Can you cook them though?
I don't know. Haven't tried. Probably dangerous to do so. Honestly, probably one of the most dangerous things in the mountains.
Well, of course you cook them after they're dangerous. Not before they're. You know what I mean.
Yeah, try. Yeah, but to cook something, you need to kill it. I don't fancy the idea of being in the realm, anywhere near, a charging mountain goat. That is 1.5 tons of charging muscle and hard bone. No, thank you.
Are we needing special supplies to get up the mountain? Climbing gear, that sort of thing.
No, you shouldn't. The terrain's okay. If you get to the point where you would need gear like that, the people that you're looking for most likely didn't make it up that far anyway. I suspect. I mean, you're welcome to, here, he throws a block and tackle and a climber's kit. There, take that, just in case.
Much appreciated.
Get,
We'll take it.
please hurry.
All right, let's go.
Alright. Anyone else have anything that they want to ask the good doctor?
That's a nope on my end.
Okay.
Just to be clear, we have to find them. Just find them. Bring them back if they're alive. But what if they're dead?
Bring them back also.
Still get them. Alright.
They deserve a burial if they're dead.
Right. Same payment.
Hi, yes.
Just to be clear. Alright.
Hi.
Not that there are any discussions when we come back.
Correct. Less payment if you don't bring them back. And no payment if you bring none of them back.
Yes. That much is clear.
And do we have a description of those who went missing?
You all are insufferable. I have business to attend to. He yanks out a scrap of parchment and starts jotting down a rough description, which sounds like a one man, half elf, oldish, young second man, half elf, youngish, related to oldish half elf. It's very basic description. It sounds like he's gotten this secondhand from somebody else who got secondhand and doesn't have all of the details himself specifically.
Aeolus is currently in the watch, right?
Yes.
Aeolus is, yeah.
What rank is Aeolus?
He'd be one of the avowed members.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So Siegfried,
Not a lieutenant.
yeah. He would be like a sir. The younger one will probably have vestments of the watch on him. We could use it to identify him if we need to.
Ask Felix. Felix would have a better idea. Honestly. He's the foreman.
Thank you for your help. And Aeolus will leave the building.
Jack follows.
Okay. Let's take our mid-session break here. getting back into it, the group of you, as you push out of the Opulent Depths Mining Company shop, you bump into a dark-skinned fellow, very beautiful, smooth skin, very faint 5 o'clock shadow, with piercing eyes that look like almost like a dirty brownish green, like a very dark hazel. As sorry, I didn't see you all coming out of there. Those of you who have lived in Elderthorn for more than a year, you can make a history check for me. Aeolus. You know who this is. This is Lander Goldworthy. He is the son, only son of Leofric and Maud Goldworthy. They are the owners and operators of the Now You Die tailor shop. And Lander is a few months back, close to almost coming up on 10 months back, roughly, was the talk of the town for that part of the fall, leading into the beginning of the harvest, which then sort of took over. But he became engaged to actually the mayor's daughter. And that would be Nara, N-A-R-R-A. As he sort of bumps in. So sorry. My deepest apologies. Excuse me. And he pushes around you and goes inside ODMC. And you hear the ching. Lander, welcome. Good to have you back. All right. So, and that's the last part of the conversation you catch.
But Moradin's balls was dead.
Siegfried just shrugs. Some guy. A lot of them in town.
Should get his
Really
eyes
not-
checked.
We're not the only ones interested in the job, it seems.
Yeah.
Best take advantage of our time and head on.
I agree.
Oh, I know the way.
Mm-hmm.
Been to the mines many times before.
Oh, so you've been the same way before.
As you set out, you can impart this story to them.
He does.
Aeolus knows the story. I grew up there. My parents are miners. Bronzeriver clan. They don't come into town too often, but yeah.
You're
Spent most
meaning
of my life
kind of
basically carrying heavy shit for my dad.
Did you say Bronzeriver? That sounds like a dwarven name.
Oh, yes. My parents are dwarves, and so is my younger sister. I was sort of adopted.
Ah,
great.
Yeah, I say a few. I start speaking to Dunnan in Dwarvish. I know the tongue pretty well.
Wow. It is fantastic. Why didn't you say so first?
I mean, I met you guys wandering in the woods. I didn't know.
That much is true.
Oh yeah, Aeolus. I think someone tried to kill me a few days ago.
Oh,
Gave me fake orders to go to the Pinwood. You didn't get any weird orders, did you?
I did not, but this is very helpful and a very strong belief. Have you said this to anyone else of the Blackburn?
Well, I mean, Arvir was the one who brought it up. He was wondering where I was, and I said, well, I got these orders, and I showed it to him. They were written, and apparently they were fake ones. But Arvir wouldn't tell me anything else.
So you want to meet anyone in the wood after all, except for your own demise?
I mean, seems like it.
Well, Jack will slap you on the shoulder, having to reach up a bit. Fortunately for you, we came upon you to bring you safely back.
Fortunately.
I believe he came upon us, but
Tomato, tomato.
and you handed the written note over to them.
Yeah, I mean, Arvir has it now, and he's not saying shit. He keeps saying it's not my business. He says it's something about watch business. I shouldn't worry about it. And he did his weird Arvir thing, you know.
Yeah, isn't that true? All right. Well, I'll look into it when we get back to see if there's any more information.
Sounds good. I just thought you should know. Well, let's get going. It's a bit of a walk. The air gets pretty thin up there, so you're gonna need to get used to that.
It's not that high in the mountains.
Okay, never mind. But yeah, then Siegfried would then explain. It's like, oh yeah, the adoption thing. Apparently a long time ago there used to be a tribe of Goliaths in these mountains. They were ended up migrating away, but I guess I was separated as a child. My mother was my mother is a musician. She was playing a song, and apparently I found her, and by the time they tried to get me back to the tribe, they had already migrated on to wherever they went to. So the Bronzeriver clan ended up raising me.
Apparently the Goliaths do not wait for any child.
Well, from the basic understanding I know is that they value strength and survival the most. The strongest rule, and those who can't keep up will get left behind. That's how they survive up in the mountains.
I feel like I must ask, what is it like being the only of the dwarven clan with no beard?
He's just like it's. I don't want to talk about it. He just starts walking.
Well, did you know, Chuck, that even dwarven women have beards?
Is that a fact? I'm not sure if I've ever... Well, I have met one. The Amber Braids.
She does not have a
Not-
beard.
That's secret. It's a more of a personal choice, but
Yes.
I
Not
heard you
every-
can't tell dwarven women from men because of the beards. Is that true?
don't say that around the dwarves. That's
That's just folk tale. Women don't grow that much beard as men.
Siegfried blushes a little bit. He's like, I've met some beautiful dwarven women in my time, but that's a different story.
With beards?
I'll tell you later. Let's keep marching. 2 days.
I mean, we've got lots of time.
You like to gossip, Chuck, is it?
Look over there.
What
Willem, there's
else
some
is there to talk about on the way?
I bet they're great to hold on to when you are playing, kissing games with them.
farmers.
And I have some stuff to talk about. We can talk on the way. It's got enough time.
Is it also about kissing and beards?
No,
Well,
Hmm.
I mean,
sorry
well,
to disappoint. It's not.
You are
What about-
underway at this point already.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I don't know. I would just like, what about you? Jakakat and Dunnan, you guys, where'd you come from? Seem to be new to Elderthorn, right?
Well,
Ah,
well,
go on.
well, I come from the mainland, and I heard that there was a new, well, not new, but there was a continent found, and uh, that there might be some riches to be found and make a name for oneself. So I followed the call and came here like 6 to 7 months ago. That's not much to tell.
Really?
I just
Yeah.
followed the call to come here.
Yeah, about a year ago. Oh, sorry. A few months back, you would have passed a 1 year anniversary since you left home. Because it's about 6 to 7 months of sea travel to arrive in Aquan. Like it's a long journey. But
So I arrived here like.
it is
6
not a
months.
recent discovery, the continent. It's
Yeah.
been established and settled for the better part of about 500 years at this point.
All right. No, I just heard and followed. That's about it.
I
4
don't
months.
often hear much of those from a different land. So used to the common folk here in Elderthorn.
How about you, Jack? I don't mean to offend, but I've never seen anyone like you before.
Oh, is it the ears? He says, grinning cheekily.
No, it's the personality, silly.
Well, if I'm to share, I am also a stranger in the strange land, like you, Dunnan, just from somewhere not the mainland. It was funny story. I was also left behind, so to speak, and I have family of sorts nearby. But it has only been within the last few years that I have been entering Elderthorn itself, seeking to meet those not of my kind.
Well, I'm glad you guys made it here. Being months at sea sounds terrifying. I'm not sure I'd have the stomach for that.
Why don't
Not
get me
terrible.
started on the sea travel. Dwarves are not made for water. Trust me on that.
Oh, and I would have to imagine being seasick with such a beard as that. It definitely sticks with you.
Well, I can hold in my liquor, so I can hold in, But it was quite an ordeal, trust me. I'm not gonna do that again anytime soon.
So you're here for the long haul then, not planning to go back.
Oh, I like it for now. See, I found a group of friends, and well, let's see how the story goes, huh?
Indeed. And I myself am curious to meet and learn about local customs, for even though I've been here for some time, I've been isolated. Hence the accent.
Isolated. What do you mean by that?
Isolated. Well, dwarves have their clans, do they not? Underground, isolated somewhat, exiting now and then to interact with others.
Not everybody is. Not every dwarf is a clan member. Take me for. I'm also a foster child.
Ah, well, regardless, imagine like a clan that you've lived with, in a cave or hole or whatever for some time. And then finally you emerge to see, oh, there's a much bigger world out here. More than what you ever care to explore. Like for you, Willem. I imagine that with your excitement, you have not often gone beyond Elderthorn. So much is so nearby, yet you've never gone there.
No, my whole life I've been training, thinking about going.
the farming life no longer satisfying for you, Willem?
Oh no, my family, it's tradition. The elder child always sets forth, and they go out and they explore and they adventure, and they're supposed to bring home a partner. How do you think Da met Ma?
Hmm.
Wait, so which
Yeah.
of
Very
your
interesting
parents is the
question.
one from abroad then?
Oh, well, Ma went adventuring, and so did Da in this case. They met in the force. I hear that it was,
Inward?
well, further abroad. I hear it was quite a battle, and it ended with Da bent over Ma's knee, getting a good whooping. I can tell you she is good with that switch.
Just remind me if I ever get to your house not to anger your ma.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Don't
Well,
want to
that
You
is-
see
experience
her
that.
arms? They're bigger than yours.
That is rude, Dan. And of course, she would not come out to you like she came out to
He's
his father
actually a
with the whipping.
fairly nice person.
Yeah, his family's always been bringing food to watch members as long as I can remember. We appreciate them quite a bit, Willem.
Yes, of course.
They certainly had to make a spicy pepper.
With Willem in the numbers,
It is
there is
true.
quite a bit of cooking. So sometimes there's extra. And yes, we've been breeding those peppers for ages. We start
Breeding the
with
peppers.
water, and then he starts just going on and on and on, droning about how to raise peppers.
I cannot roll for crap today.
No. Sorry, it seems like the rest of the group can still roll really well. 2 19s.
Perception. 1 second.
Yeah, last night I was playing in a game where I was a rogue and I failed every single acrobatics check in a boss fight.
Oof.
Ridiculous.
Pretty good checks across the board. The travel falls away underfoot. The path is clearly marked and trodden. Some of it even have cobbles that look like they might have been dropped and allowed to sink into the dirt over time, rather than intentionally laid down. But it is a well-worn and known path of this that you're traveling. The day goes by, that of which it remains, before the evening starts to set upon you. It is getting darker rapidly. Are you going to push onwards, since you've only traveled for about half a day so far? Or are you going to set up a camp?
I mean,
I think
go ahead.
I think we should stop early, and I can perhaps set a trap for some creatures or fish, and we can cook supper, perhaps breakfast as well.
Well, that sounds fun. I think the doctor wanted us to get there as quick as we could, right? And there are other people on this job right now, right?
I would agree. Let us not be left behind because someone else more enterprising walked ahead through the night.
Yes, but we won't be good to anybody if we arrive weak from hunger.
We got rations, Willem. Well, perhaps when we find the survivors, we can cook them a hearty meal. I'm sure they'll appreciate it.
I'm looking forward to your
Rations?
cooking.
And then he looks really upset. Sulking, perhaps. Even.
It's what you gotta do when you're traveling out here, Willem. You gotta get used to it.
There will be ample of time for your food, Willem. But for now, we have to push on, so that we are not left behind by any other group.
Alright.
Fine, but just today.
Think of it as a challenge. You are a chef now, apparently. What can you do with hardtack and dry fruit?
Like, perhaps with some flour instead of hardtack, I could add some water and make some
Yeah, that's as good.
bread.
He says,
and
interrupting, just claps an arm on his shoulder. Keep thinking of things. Keep that mind
okay.
running.
And Willem is totally going to invent some hardtack tacos, by the way.
Lovely.
break your teeth.
Tacos.
Some of you do not have dark vision, correct?
Yep. I would like to. Yeah, I would just cast light with produce flame for
Okay.
myself at least.
So you're holding that. You guys do have a collection of torches as well. And I believe, Jack, you also do not have dark vision, correct?
Correct. He does have a lantern, and then also there's the torches. If we're
Okay.
going for a while, he'll use the lantern because it's more efficient just to burn some oil on it, get good light out of it.
Okay, sounds good. Easy enough. So with the and Aeolus, I believe you do have dark vision, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So with the light that is being provided by your sources, how many hours does the group want to push into the night before calling it for a rest?
So, what about time of day is it right now?
So it's sundown. Early spring, you'd be looking at about 6 to 7 p.m. Sun's down entirely by 8.
Okay.
It's dark. This point in the moon cycle, there is a sliver of a moon and the stars, but nothing that provides ample light of any sort.
Is there, like, does the sun rise? What's the? How long does the night last? Is it 8 hours or is it longer than 8 hours?
No, sunrise should be about 6 to 7 a.m.
So can we go long enough that an 8-hour watch ends with sunrise?
You could if you wanted to.
Yeah, that sounds fine with me.
All right, so you wanted to push on another 2 hours to close to 10 p.m.?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that fine with Aeolus? You think that's all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Look, all you make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Willem would start to get cranky and whiny after a bit, but would go along with it.
Oh, all you do fine. First hour seems to melt away with the lantern and flame light flickering, lighting the path. The trees are present along one side of the route at this point. The southern side of your travel is flanked by trees, so that the wood that this path has been cut out of. And the right side has more grassland appearance. You suspect that the path might be following the edge of the wood to get to where you're going. I'd like everyone to make me another Constitution save for the second hour. All right. Dunnan and Siegfried, and Jack, you each take a level of exhaustion. You'll be able to remedy that with a long rest, but you each take one as you're pushing forwards. After that next hour, you're all feeling it though, ready to camp. Who's leading the charge in finding an appropriate campsite?
I believe that would be either Siegfried.
Yeah, I can do that. And just before I start looking for a campsite, I am going to go into a starry form.
Okay.
If that's all right.
Sure.
And I'm gonna go into the dragon form.
Okay.
So that gives me
Constitution, wisdom check or con save to
make
maintain
a-
concentration on a spell.
Oh no, never mind. What is that? I don't think that's all cut out.
Yes.
This doesn't right?
No, so constellation, whenever you make intelligence or wisdom check, or a con save to maintain concentration, you treat a roll of 9 as a 10.
Yep. So I imagine this is to help with like a survival.
Yeah,
or
that would
perception roll to
that would
deal
help with that. Yes.
Okay, all right. I was like, I thought I was doing the right thing, and then I read the description. I was like, what's going on?
Yep, you're good.
Right.
Can
Okay.
Jack assist Siegfried?
Sure.
Join him?
Sig-
I was gonna say,
are you gonna make your own
Classic
check or
pretty
give
good at this.
Siegfried advantage?
Giving advantage.
Okay.
He's tired, but he also has proficiency in survival right now.
Okay, so help by pointing out a few different areas that Siegfried can inspect. Go ahead and make your check with advantage, Siegfried.
Yeah, and you'll see a constellation of like stars appear on Siegfried this time, but there's like you see like a small sort of a bright star appear right on his forehead. That kind of looks like a dragon's head. But yeah, I
It's
will
fascinating.
do that with advantage. Thank
Mhm.
you.
So you have a +5, so that is a 23. Taking a look around, you find a relatively dry patch of ground on the grassy side of the trail, about 20 feet away from the road itself. Looks like it's been trampled upon somewhat. You suspect this might actually be a common campsite, based on having pushed a little bit of extra time. Normally people leave in the morning, but if any group that was traveling to the camp maybe left mid-morning, this would be about where they might have ended up. It's a remarkably good campsite. It's already cleared of stones, rocks, sticks, anything like that. Enough to fit a few tents and definitely a few bedrolls.
I think that would have been a disadvantage. Sorry, so it would just been a 15.
Ah,
Yeah, the other way.
okay. You have to
I
clear.
don't know. I thought I thought the starry form gave me advantage, but it just makes it a minimum 10.
Yeah,
Never
man.
mind.
Yeah, Jack's help was deterring any disadvantage, so it's just a straight roll.
Yeah.
Yep, it's just 15.
And no matter how many advantages you stack on one side, if there's at least one advantage and at least one disadvantage, it's straight roll no matter what.
Yep.
It's not like +1 -1 type of thing. But it's
At least you can't roll less than a 10.
yeah, it's passable. You do find a small ring of what appears to be not like a stone ring, but a small section where it appears to be a small campfire was burned at one point, but it's long since been extinguished.
Siegfried will use produce flame and ask Willem go look for some wood and try to start a fire.
Yes, of course. I
Don't
can
go too
always
far in
find
the
wood.
woods. Stay at the edge. Jack, watch him so he doesn't kill himself.
All right, I will come with.
All right.
Of course, I
He'll
can
help
always
out.
find
Gather
wood.
wood.
So
What should I roll for finding wood?
Would you roll me an investigation check, please?
Thank you for that. That was awesome.
Jack is helping him with that.
With at advantage.
Hey, good roll.
All right. 18. You find a few downed branches. Looks like maybe blown off in a storm or something of that sort. As the breeze rustles through the trees, you can hear that creaking of limbs above you. If you pause for a moment, if you think you're worried irrationally, as one of the trees might drop another limb. Nothing happens though. It's pretty big. I need an athletics check from you and Jack, please.
Disadvantage here?
For you, yes.
Didn't matter. I'm rolling terribly anyway.
It's a little bit too heavy for the two of you to like get up to the point where you can drag it back towards where the camp is.
Can we break off chunks of it?
Dunning, can you help us?
Do I hear that? Do I
Yeah.
hear everyone?
Yeah, they're about 100 yards away from you.
Alright, I'm tired, but what do you need?
We have something heavy to carry. Can you help?
We need your axe.
Right. I'll be there, 1 sec.
Get your axe over here.
Could you also mention to them to not scream in the middle of the forest at night?
Sure. I'll get to them.
Sure.
Otis,
They found a particularly large branch. It's about 8 to 10 feet long. And the thicker part, it's probably a good 9 inches in diameter. Plenty good of firewood.
Otis said we shouldn't make much of a fuss, so when I start attacking, I think it would attract too much attention. Maybe if the 3 of us carry us, it will be enough. Here, let me give you a lift.
Go ahead and make an athletics check for yourself as well, Don, to try to assist them.
Also have disadvantage, right?
If you rolled if you failed the con save, yeah. Still pretty darn good. With you sort of helping them to get it tilted up to the point that it can be dragged, it takes you the better part of 5 minutes to sort of try to extricate it from some of the ground cover growth that's on the forest floor here. But eventually you get it onto the road and then drag it along the road towards the edge of where the camp is and then drag it towards the camp. It's an ample amount of firewood. Should last quite a few hours, at least.
Yeah, no problem at all. You have to train more.
And Siegfried will get at least a decent fire going, a watch fire at the very least.
Okay. You break off as many of the branches as possible without using tools and get a fire going. It's warming, and the night is getting colder. The winter still is trying to be present, as it is still early spring, so the nights still get quite a chill as you all settle in. Are you setting any type of watch structure for the evening?
Aeolus
It's
will take first watch.
okay. Siegfried will take last watch when it's getting a little lighter out.
Okay.
Well,
Need a second and third.
great for in the middle of the night, so one of
Alright.
those two.
Willem second. I need a third watch.
Yeah, done then.
All right, fantastic.
Good man. Claps on the shoulder.
All right, you're all
You know, yeah, whatever. You don't see good in the night, so you wouldn't be of use anyway.
I'll just have to train my eyes.
But in your ears.
you all.
And,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, before we settle down, one more thing. We had some squabbles and fights now, but I still don't know all your capabilities, and so I don't like surprises during a battle, so I would like to know what you're all capable of. Jack, I observed you. You like to, what I've seen, pinch between the pits of the arms, and you're more the sneaky guy, right?
I like to think of it as strategic strikes, less than being sneaky.
All right. Well, we can take advantage of that during battle, so take proper positions, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
you saw Willem up close. I wasn't more engaged with the other guys. What's your specialty, Willem?
Well, I worked with the watch for a while, and I can stab people really good, or okay at least. But sometimes the shadows come out of me and consume my enemies.
The shadows?
Did you not see? He was absolutely terrifying out there. I'm surprised that the recruits did not turn and run.
I mean, I've heard stories, Willem, but I try not to judge.
Yeah,
There it is, right out the mouth of the babe. It's
I was exploring some caves when I was young, and I found this book. And sometimes, somehow the book takes hold of me and my enemies, as it calls them, they fall.
I guess it's good you're on our side then, Willem.
Well, at least if you can keep your shadows away from us, I have no problem with that.
I've got so many questions, but you can wait for
Yes.
the morning.
Yeah.
Well, the numbers survived, so I'm sure you will too.
What about you, Siegfried? I saw you turning into a wolf, and you can apparently do that.
Yeah, I can turn into a handful of animals. You saw at least two of my starry forms. One helps me heal multiple people. The other helps me be a better tracker, and then there's another one if we need some ranged firepower. But mostly my gifts lie with natural magic.
Fascinating abilities.
And you, Aeolus?
I hit things with my spear.
There's nothing wrong with that. I know the feeling. Same with me. I hit stuff and bash their brains. Not much of a magic user, fortunately.
Yeah. Same here.
Well, then we will be the vanguard, and those guys hide behind us.
We know that Telerast is very sturdy and strong, and she has spiders living in her cleavage.
Yes, apparently so.
I think I'm gonna try and turn into a spider next time. Maybe I can talk with it.
Be careful,
you
she
can
might
go into
try to
her
tuck you
cleavage.
within her chest.
Siegfried just laughs at that. And what was Aeolus saying?
So that you can crawl into her cleavage.
We are thinking the same thing.
It's apparently where she keeps her spiders. We don't know, we just saw one. Maybe there are more.
Telerast, if this is a problem, you could get yourself a boyfriend so he's not so not so cobwebby between there.
I just lay down. And then remember I have to take first watch. And I get back up, sigh.
Alright. You all settle in for your rest. Aeolus, I'd like a perception check for your watch, please. The first 30 minutes to an hour pass quietly. The stars slowly wheeling overhead. As they do, your ears pick up a sound. It's like a clicking sound, like two rocks being rapidly tapped together. Tick 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 tick. It's the only sound that sort of echoes through. There's still the breeze. Seems like it's picked up a little bit. You stoke the fire a few times to make sure ashes aren't blowing onto your companions. Your watch passes uneventfully.
As Aeolus wakes the next person,
Be you, Willem.
he'll let them know about the tapping.
Willem, you wait for your watch. Settle in.
Would you need me to roll?
A perception check, please.
You got it, boss.
And your dark vision's 120, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Overlord, Spencer.
The clicking sound Aeolus mentioned does not occur. You're not sure what he was talking about. But a little while into your watch, it takes you a moment to feel like you're in a darker darkness all of a sudden. It was dark, but now it's like gotten darker from there. Then you look up. All of the stars look like they've been faded or obfuscated by a dense cloud cover. That seems to have blown in.
If I have time during my watch, I would try to set up a trap. I'd probably use mold earth to help dislodge a stone, use a stick, set some sort of bait underneath, and hope to crush some little furry buddy for breakfast.
Okay. Make me an intelligence check and a survival check, please. Setting up the trap correctly and knowing where to set it up.
Yike. Let's see what the intelligence does. Probably not much after that.
It goes after noticing the change in the environment. You get about setting this up. Definitely smash your finger a few times a little bit uncomfortably on this deadfall trap that you're trying to pitch.
Of course, I would not admit to anyone.
It's not great. You're having trouble finding the right size and shape stick to set up the deadfall in such a way that anything walking underneath it would trigger the deadfall. And it's just not going well for you. You eventually get this stone propped up, but you're pretty sure it's not going to work. Like, you just sort of have to be lucky that it falls whilst something is underneath it, conveniently. But it's there. The rest of your watch passes quietly, though. Dunnan, your third watch. As you come to, I'd like a perception check from you, please. The evening continues onwards, and you can see the skies starting to lighten towards the end of your watch, illuminating whatever cloud cover is above your heads, but there's definitely a grayness about it. About the last 10-15 minutes of your watch, there's a sound that startles you, and the rest of you are also startled awake by this sound, as a massive clap of thunder cracks through the space, and a very faint drizzle begins upon each of you, camping in a field, now in the rain.
Don't watch for some rest.
Siegfried, you know primal magic. Can you make the rain stop? Please?
I'm not that powerful.
I was just hoping.
Is there any way to cover from the rain?
We may need to move camp into the woods.
As he said.
Well, if you want some rest, there is no way around it, I guess. You have to move at the camp.
Okay.
Did we I know we had the wood. Did we have a campfire going all night?
You did. It's not going anymore.
Okay. Jack rises and rolls up his bedroll and stashes it.
Well, woods were this way. Isn't that right, Willem?
Hmm?
We need to head into the woods to rest.
To the woods? Are you sure that's safe? You heard the tales, right? Creatures
These
of
aren't the
darkness.
pinwoods, right? These are just woods in general. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. This is not the Pinwood. That's the other side of Elderthorn.
Well, that is what watch is for. And I, for one, am in great need of a good dry sleep, or at least not soaking.
Alright. You relocate your camp. Easily enough. By the time you've relocated, done in your watch time has ended, and you can return to your rest. And that brings us to Siegfried, Jack, and Hellerest, all able to be awake at this point.
Yes, enjoy that, Dunnan, he says with some wryness as we move camp to rest, and then Dunnan gets to lay down.
Not my fault that it starts raining.
The rain shows no sign of abatement during your watch, Siegfried. It is continuing and plodding onwards. The light that was off in the corner of the sky towards the end of Dunnan's watch of the sun rising rapidly vanishes behind the gray clouds, and the day doesn't get too bright whatsoever. But it's time to pack up camp and head out.
Yeah, Siegfried excuse me. Siegfried would just help pack things up since he can lift things a little bit easier.
It's gonna be
You can
a
all remove
long
your
day
level of
traveling.
exhaustion also. Are you trying to reach the camp over the course of the journey today? Or at least your next waypoint?
I think so.
Yeah.
Is that realistic?
So Siegfried, you would know the next waypoint. The rest of you have not been to the mining camps previously. So you would not know the journey itself. Siegfried knows it.
Yeah, Siegfried, there's a waypoint coming up. Let's see how fast we can get there, and we can.
It's usually,
ask about
yeah. The building, it's on the handout in your journal, is about a half day's journey from the base mining camp, known as Mining Camp 1. You're very familiar.
Yeah, I'll say we should be getting there by midday, and then we can see how well the trails to the camp are doing. Sometimes if it rains heavy enough, it gets washed out for a little bit. We'll just have to see.
You all set off. The
Can we
journey. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Move at a rapid pace or something?
That's what I was about to ask. The journey itself it's rain. Are you trying to hustle to try to spend a little bit less time in the rain?
I think that'd be all right.
Okay. Over the first 4 hours of the morning journey, I'd like a 1 Constitution save from everybody, please. Since you are well rested at this point, you're not doing a force march. You're just trying to move quickly.
Oh man.
Oof. All right. Jack, Aeolus, who are we missing there? Willem.
He said be right back, so
Ah, okay. I'll roll
Willem
Willems.
doesn't perform in the rain, apparently.
Alright, Willem's con save. Willem's good. Alright,
DC
so
10. Oh, that's rough.
yeah. Willem's just barely fine. Jack
I took that resilient and constitution as quick as I could.
yeah, low DC. Jack and Aeolus, you are waterlogged. Jack, you've been dealing with this rain longer than everyone else. You're over it already. The two of you take a level of exhaustion. A little bit after midday, you can see emerging out of the fog that the rain sort of causes that obfuscates vision more than a few hundred yards. A large cabin that's situated near to the road, a few yards away from the road, with what looks to be a plot of a garden that goes along one side, and the side from which you're approaching, which would be the side that gets the morning sun, and the back of the cabin itself. Siegfried, you recognize this as your mother and father's home. Their waypoint along the journey.
Siegfried sighs, is like let me handle this, and he goes up and he starts yelling, Ma, you home?
Over the pounding of the rain on the area, takes a moment before you hear several latches on the door. Not doing any business today. Opens the door. Oh, come in. Why are you standing there? I didn't know you were coming. Oh, you have others. Come in. Get out of the rain. You'll catch your death.
Is Siegfried's father around? Siegfried does a quick perception check.
As you look around the area, no, he's not.
Okay.
And Lorelei notice. Oh, he's not back from the logging camp yet. They just opened up. He should be home in the next 10 days or so.
Oh, good.
You know that after retiring, he works as the winter foreman, making sure that the camp doesn't get destroyed by snowdrifts and things of that sort. Usually stays about a 10-day or two after it reopens, making sure everything is well, and then returns home for the spring, summer, and fall seasons.
Is his sister around too?
Currently, no. The only other person home at the moment is Orla.
Oh.
At the sound of all of the commotion in the main room, though, bounding from the back, hi, a very small dwarven girl pushes forwards.
Siegfried just like picks her up by the back of her, like literally just like a little dog, and then just tosses her up in the air and catches her.
The group of you see. Let me grab. I have a handout for Orla. Than's axe.
Yes, we've taught her that axes aren't toys, right, Orla?
Axes are toys. Got it.
Well, yes. Thank you, Mother, for letting us in. This is my new crew. We're here to.
Sort of stands on a chair. All right. And what all are you doing? This is Orla.
Well,
Fishing heads.
Yes, that's what Dunnan is good at.
Getting wet.
Yeah, so we're trying to get dry too, but we're here for the job about the campsite, you know, Ma?
Oh, I heard some of that terrible business. Hopefully everything's well.
Yeah, I hope so too. I was glad to hear it wasn't anyone from the Dwarven clans, but still, the younger one was a member of the Watch, so still tragic.
Most people are, or at least were. That's how it is. Hopefully you find them. I mean, from what it sounds like, they're both capable men. They should be fine. I'll offer my prayers for them, though.
You knew the two people?
They stopped by to buy some of my knickknacks every now and then. You know, I run a decent business here, even in my retirement. Looks at the mines pay very well, and I used to work as one of the foremen, but the hours got a little bit long once this one, as she gestures towards Orla, came along to the delight of the entire family. And, well, I wanted to be able to spend more time with her. So, now she gestures to one side of the entryway where you came from. You can see there's a cart that looks like it's been set on 3 wheels that it can be moved about. And currently draped around it are strings of hand-carved beads and charms and symbols of different kami, all placed upon it. Well, the miners pay very well, and if they pay great, or get paid very well, and well, I'm the first shop they pass. It's just small knickknacks, but it keeps me busy. And Orla likes to help me every now and then.
And Siegfried gently unwraps his instrument that's been like wrapped in leather and secure the whole time. He's like, she actually made this for me a few years back.
It's nothing. That one, it was fun. Challenging.
Well, if
Yes.
you don't mind, I think we're gonna try and take some lunch here.
Yes, please. I'll get the
Willem's
fire
quite a good cook. I
stoked.
think he has some venison on him, right?
Venison?
Or what did Willem have?
Oh, that was passed on to the family.
Oh
but
yeah, okay. Never mind. I wouldn't mention that then.
I was hoping to catch something, but I
You did not.
only got my thumbs.
Maybe catch a cold.
Well, let me help you in the kitchen, Ma. And
No, you go sit by the fire and warm up.
you know,
Sit by the fire. I'll tan your hide.
he goes over to Orla and then he just gives her 10 silver coins. Here, keep it somewhere safe.
I'm rich. I'm rich. I'll never need you again, Ma. And she runs off. It's always interesting interacting with her. The younger of any of the family by a good 16 years. She's a delight.
How
That's a
old is
word
she?
for it.
I mean, I just look at the group. I mean, dwarven children, they're destructive by nature. You just kind of got to deal with it. And I'm sure you know.
Well, makes them sturdy.
She's about 5.
You have a
this little
charming
little-
family. He says, sitting by the fire.
Thank you. Hopefully we'll be... your opinion might change when you run into my dad. He does have a very high opinion of my career choice.
What is that? Adventuring? Saving miners?
Not being a miner.
Oh, well, then this current assignment would probably please him. Helping and all.
I don't know what'll please him. he says that quietly, hoping that his mom doesn't hear.
We'll prove him wrong. You will see. You will see your worth after this. Trust me.
So, I heard you mention that you sell knickknacks.
Yes! Would you like to purchase some? Take a look at the cart. Just pick out what you like. I usually set it up outside, but... yeah, not today.
Yeah, Siegfried would go over because he always tries to buy something when he's home.
Do you get much business out here?
Just the miners. But most of them, or at least their fathers or brothers, still know me from when I worked as the foreman. So they usually, and they're paid fairly handsomely, so they usually don't mind spending a coin or two here. I usually make about, I make good enough. And I don't need too much, truthfully. So it works out.
Have you got Siegfried? Have they got maybe a necklace of several small, round, softwood beads?
I have one that's made of bone out there. Cow bones. It's been carved, cleaned. Don't worry. But she's preparing what appears to be a meal of chopped potatoes and root vegetables.
Siegfried would start at least like setting the table and things like that. Getting silverware out and whatever. Bowls.
Not that fancy.
Yeah. He'll just try and find things for people to eat.
Yeah. You know where your mother keeps all the clay bowls. Enough for your companions and yourself easily. And you set out a few cutting knives that can also be used to spear a piece of food and bring it to one's mouth. It's rustic but charming.
And I would start practicing the bloody Mad Dog song again.
Sure.
Try to be like, Orla, I wrote a new song.
Yeah.
Not that good yet.
What's it about?
Some
She
bloody
runs
Mad
around.
Dog.
A bloody dog? Cool. Did you bloody it?
There was blood on both sides.
Cool. Sort of reaches out and strums a few of the strings. Runs away.
It's getting better, Siegfried.
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
keep on working on it.
Does he like sing while he plays, or is it just the music, no accompaniment?
No, he's singing. He's sort of just telling the story about the four-headed dogs, like just like a weird like horror song, something like that.
You see, Donna, this is the part where I find a little confusing. So you call us the bloody mad dogs, yet in the song, the bloody mad dogs are the monsters that we fought with the multiple heads. Are we metaphorically meant to be a disgusting dog with multiple heads? Is that supposed to be us? You're muted. If you're stalking,
Who were you asking? Siegfried or Dannen?
Dunnan.
Oh, me. Sorry. Well, there is no particular reason. I just like the name. It sounds, call it dangerous and imposing. You know, nobody remembers, a name that doesn't go well off the tongue. But
That
if
is
you say
fair.
bloody mad dogs, you will be remembered. Nobody remembers the unicorns or whatever you call yourself. You know, it has to sting in the head of the person. I know it sounds stupid at first, but trust me, it sticks.
You can't argue with that. What about you, Siegfried? What's your intention? Is this like a metaphorical thing? How does it tie to us?
I mean, I just like writing songs about adventures. It gives a little bit more clout, you know, if it's your own adventure.
Maybe if one of the heads was very squat, kind of scrunched face, lots of fur on it, that would be Dunnan. One face has got not much of a nose, that would be me. One face is, very, very long.
I mean, I
that'd
don't
be
think we
you.
need to be that literal. It's just a story.
And stretch the truth a little bit, you know? It doesn't have to be all that, you know?
Well, it's hard to stretch the truth beyond. We fought and destroyed multiple multi-headed dogs leaking sap for blood. How do you stretch the story beyond that?
You fought these dogs? As she's finishing clearing up the plates at the tail end of this discussion.
Yeah, Siegfried's just like scooping in potatoes as fast as he can, and then kind of choking and talking back at it, like, yeah, some crazy stuff going on in the Finwood.
His words be cursed. Why are you wandering around there?
I mean, you know, watch stuff.
Watch stuff. It's always the excuse. Don't be messing with the kami, otherwise they'll be messing with you.
Yes, Mom. I know. I think the kami have been helping me out a little bit recently. I could do some new stuff.
Don't believe that. Not you. I'm sure you're very skilled on your own, but they'd be helping no one. Not less be for a fun practical joke.
True. And then he kind of like rubs the little necklace he has. That's one of his mom's warts, probably. And
So
yeah,
you all headed up to the camp?
that's the plan. Are the
Alright.
trails clear? Do you think we can get there by evening?
If you all right, it sounds like it's dying down a little. You'll be wet again, but you'll make it before sundown, hopefully. Uh,
Welcome.
Just you'll come to a fork in the road. Make sure to keep to the right hand side. You can't miss it. It goes nowhere else.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
I'll tell your dad you stopped by, and I'll tell him about all your adventuring. I'm sure he'll be happy to hear that.
surely. I got some money. I was gonna leave some behind for you at Orla.
Don't worry about us, sweetie. Yeah, you keep your coin. Earn a little bit for yourself.
Sure. I heard Bugram was up at the lumber camp. Maybe they've met each other there.
Maybe. That's Emil's boy. Yes.
Yeah, one of the Amber Braids.
Ah,
They helped me out a bit when I
strange
Elder.
folk every now and then.
yeah.
I remember when he was just a weein'. He got in a lot of trouble.
Siegfried just is like, oh no, trouble. I don't know anything about that.
Right. Stay safe up at the camp. If some bear got them, I don't want to get in any of you. It was a pleasure to meet all of you, though. She directs her orations towards the rest of the group.
Jack is practicing spinning around his dinner knife with psionics, trying to entertain the little one a bit.
She's enraptured by it. Well, can you do other things besides
Thank you.
knives? What about
Yeah.
spoons?
Have you got a spoon?
No. Do you have a spoon?
I have no spoon. There is no spoon.
Guess you can't do
Willem
spoons.
reaches inside of his coat and pulls out a spoon.
He's got a spoon.
Oh, here we go.
Cool.
Is it like a wooden spoon?
Yeah, I think so. Is it the one from your cooking kit?
No,
Okay.
you have to keep a spoon on you,
Mess
you
kit.
know, just in case.
Yeah, sure.
Jack will try to pluck it and float, spin it around in the air,
Haha.
like move it, try to like pop, try to dip it into the soup, get like a little chunk of some potato or something, and he's gonna try to lift it up and pop it in Willem's mouth, like feeding a baby. You know, like kind of pokes at his lips. Come on, open wide.
Well, muted.
Sorry, I missed something. Can you repeat that?
He's feeding you with this floating spoon, like a baby.
No. I feel like you'd probably just sit up straight and accept it.
Pleasantly amused.
The after the meal's concluded, and your bowls are collected by Lorelei. As you're all making your farewells, she pulls you aside, Siegfried. Look, I know the ODMC. They were good to me for many years, but that kind of money they're tossing about, if half of what the miners are saying be true, I know they gossip more than bored wives, but you be careful, okay?
What have the miners been saying?
They're talking about wild beasts hunting them. I mean, part of it is probably to convince the Felix to try to get them more pay. Not that they need it, but I can tell you, I wouldn't have stood for all of their gossiping back when I was working. But I don't know if Felix has as much of a spine as I do. He's good though. He's good people.
No stories about animals with sap coming out of them.
Like that song. That's nasty.
I mean,
No.
it was true, Ma. I was never seen anything like it before.
No, last sighted of anything big was a big mountain lion towards autumn. Is about a week before Yuri went back up to the mine camp for winter. He was worried about going, actually. He didn't want us he didn't want to leave me and Orla with such a big beast on the loose, but we're fine.
Well, let's hope the goats aren't pulling an uprising finally.
Yeah. But be safe all the same, as she ushers the group out her
And,
door.
He'll kiss her on the forehead, and then he'll do the same to Orla as well.
Bring me something cool!
Sure.
Hype up, Sam.
Pardon?
I'm sorry, I was waiting for all the conversation to be done.
Yeah.
Aeolus would ask, would you happen to have a bracelet of the kami charms?
Oh, yes, she sorts through some things, pulls one from a looks like a spindle, and sort of untangles it from its neighbor, presents to you. Here you go. 2 silver.
Aeolus will hand her 5.
Oh.
Thank you for allowing us a bit of respite.
You're very welcome. Don't tell the watch I let other people into my home. I don't want all the miners thinking they can come in and eat whenever they want. But you're very welcome.
Ever here.
You were... Oh, never mind. I get it. And she's presented you with what looks to be maybe cherry wood. A very warm colored wood that's been polished remarkably well. And lacquered by some type of substance. So to the point where it almost has sort of a sheen to it. And these small segments of the bracelet are vaguely ovular in shape. And you can see the striations of the wood in sharp relief as carved into each of them with some type of burning device. Has been various symbols, which... Do you read Dwarven?
I do not.
They look runic in nature, but you do not know what they say.
Amazing craftsmanship.
Thank you. I enjoy it. It keeps me busy. But you all stay safe. As she's very politely ushering you out of her home.
All right, let's go. Losing daylight.
You can go ahead and add a bracelet of kami charms or kami bracelet to your inventory, Aeolus.
On the way
The
out,
yeah, go ahead.
Jack will comment. I did not realize you were the type to be interested in charms, Aeolus.
There are many spirits in this world, as well as many creatures. You have to respect every and all.
The next section of the leg of the journey actually goes relatively quickly. You are gaining slightly in altitude as you've entered the foothills after about an hour or so after leaving Lorelai's home. At that point, the path itself does have more stones set into it on either side of the path itself. So there's a smooth area which you suspect for wagons and carts and the like, but then there's an area that people on foot have an easier time traversing, and it actually makes the journey go a little bit faster despite the rain. You arrive close to 5 to 6 p.m. You probably have about an hour before proper sundown, but it is dark already at the Opulent Depths Mining Company, Camp 1. And there we are. It is... You see the lights of the camp prior to anything else, as it comes into focus through the now drizzling rain. There's some people milling about, and one person that's sort of underneath an outstretched arm of a tent calls out, "You aren't all workers. What you doing here?"
We're here about the job from the doctor. We're looking for Felix.
Big tent. Last one on the left.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would lead them to the big tent.
Okay. The ground here is devoid of plant growth, and as such is a muddy sty. Your feet are sticking through it as you're trudging through. Boots and pants are totally covered. Any long cloaks are stained with mud by even the few hundred feet through the camp to a large circular tent that looks like the sides of it have been reinforced with heavy wooden beams to the point that this is almost looks like a tent that has been turned into a permanent structure of sorts. Large tarps draped over it for the rain. Tarp, like a waxed canvas, have been draped over it and pinned down for the rain as you push inside and find a cozy space. Several large desks in the front section. It looks like it's been bisected by a large curtain. Suspect living quarters on the other side of it. And currently poring over a few different charts with a scale and a few chunks and tidbits of ore. You see a gnome currently working. He has a small monocle that's affixed into one of his eyes, and then is holding up a jeweler's loop to the other eye as he's checking some what appears to be raw gemstones. And he's weighing them, taking notes. At the sound of the group of you entering, he holds up one finger on his left hand to give him a moment before you even say a word. Finishes scribbling a few things, and then takes the 2 pieces of eyewear off of his face. Yes?
We're here about the job from the doctor. I nudged Dunnan forward to show him the slip.
Oh?
For the missing miners.
Oh! My name is Felix Sparklefern. I am the foreman here. You speak of my associate in Elderthorn, yes?
Yes,
Ah,
Dr. Boomcraft.
yep.
Booncraft. Certain. Well, no time like the present. He takes out a small golden whistle from a chain around his neck, gives a blow on it. There's no sound. And then tucks it back into his tunic. Follow me. Out. Go. Outside. Yes, thank you. I'll show you where they were camped. As he leads you through the area. What are your names, by the way?
My name's Dun and Firebeard, and we are the bloody Mad Dogs. This here is Aeolus. That one with the pointy ears is Jack. You know Siegfried, the tall big guy.
Siegfried.
And the little one over there is Willem.
Welcome.
Hey.
Our two miners are named Elre Lazana and Emron Rolar. They're both half-elves. You would think they would know the wilderness a little better than it seems that they do. The names are in chat for you. He leads you to... let me grab them. Alright. He leads you through the camp. And then out of the main mining camp and through a small glade with a few winding paths that look like maybe game trails that have been repurposed and pass by a few small camps of individuals where there's a tent, like a cook pot that's been covered. Some of them are deserted, some of them are occupied at the moment. Through this area. This is our grounds upon which some of the miners choose to make their own camps rather than use the barracks provided. We do not offer to reimburse the costs here, but here we are. About another 100 feet past the last one. Here we go. This is where Elray and Emran were supposed to be staying. We've removed all of the food except including what was in the cook pot, but that was a collection of potatoes and root vegetables that were not yet cooked. Feel free to investigate. I'll find Volare. She was the one who discovered their nature of being not here after they failed to appear for work.
They never made it here, am I correct?
No, these are their belongings. They set this up. We don't set this up.
Yeah, and then they went off and never came back, right?
I don't know. That's your job to find out.
Alright. Just gathering information.
Of course. No, all of this, he gestures back behind him. All of this area was space that our miners can set up camps if they so choose to, and some strike out further into the wood every now and then, or to the other side of the camp. It's carte blanche. But a lot come a day early to set up, have a day of rest after the journey here, before beginning. Volare and myself suspect that this was likely the case for the two of them. They came, they set up, and then they were gone. But the cook pot, he gestures to the large one set near a bed of wood that's not yet been burned. It's just wood. Some, not a lot. This looks like a tinder, not like any logs or anything like that. The cook pot had all of the root vegetables and what looks to be the beginnings of a stew in it, but it was still raw when Volare found it.
Was it prepared, cut up for cooking?
Yes, it was.
They must have left in a hurry, it seems, or have been surprised by something. I mean, why bother with starting to cook when you leave it all there?
Not much of a stew, just root vegetables.
Yeah, it's what keeps well on the journey and can still be considered fresh. But no, they, from what I was told, as it was cleared out, I was a day behind everyone else. But as the food was removed, it seems like they had gotten everything ready to go, but they had not yet lit a fire.
Where do you usually get the water for a stew? Have you a well of some sort?
We do, in the center of camp, yes. It's about around which the camp was really sprung up. Feel free to look around. I will find Valare for you.
Are we also free to set up camp around here?
That is fine. Just do not disturb any of the others. Including this one.
We'll be careful.
Oh, Willem, given your experience as a cook, what do you make of it? No water in the pot, vegetables cooked, fire ready, not lit.
Fire's not ready.
Well, I mean,
Kindling.
like, yeah, the kindling was like ready.
Yeah.
So, like, was there enough wood beneath it for a fire, or was
No,
it just nearby?
just to get it started? There's no logs.
Okay.
Well, it looks like they were starting to prepare to cook, but had left before supper could even be started. It must have been urgent for them to leave at this point. in
Would
the
they were
process.
taken?
Is this on the? Is this camp? It's among other camps in the area, right?
It's on the
edge or
outskirts, yeah. A little bit more into the wood to the north of the mining camp itself. You gather you're probably maybe 600-700 feet away from the mining camp, like the borders of the one that ODMC operates, with the barracks. And you're probably about 100 feet away from the next nearest individual miner's like tent and setup. Give you an idea.
And the next nearest one is closer to the camp, not similarly or further.
Correct.
away.
Yeah, it is closer to the ODMC camp.
So this is the furthest individual.
This is the
campsite.
furthest away at the moment. Yes, at least in this direction.
So if you want somebody to disappear, this is the place to be.
Give me
Is it common?
an investigation check, any of you.
Sure. Disadvantage.
Could I cast guidance on Jack?
Sure.
He needs it. If he's not rolling low, he's got disadvantage.
Yeah, 13.
13.
Well enough. We'll pick up with your findings as you look around the abandoned camp next session.
Nice.